What about costuming? I mean, we talked about a little bit of this in season 2, but you know, because you know how our costumer is. She's crazy, and she's sitting off camera, by the way.
That's why we keep looking at her.
That's why we keep looking at her.
I think Andrea still follows her same suit. She's still very sexy and seductive, and
aren't you only in one episode of season 3?
Well, yes, but even in the couple of scenes that she's in, she still follows the same suit, even though her character is going through a huge transition as far as not being so malicious. She's a bit sweeter. So maybe some of the wardrobe reflects that.
James, the character, his wardrobe is just kind of, casual, plain clothes. Pretty casual guy.
I always like James the character.
Not James. Not James. Just the character.
If I don't say James the character, it sounds like I'm speaking in third person.
Well, I mean, that's because I wrote the character for you when I wrote it. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I think you would hit me up on Facebook and like, do you have any roles for me?
Yeah, I do that to everyone. Who's into film. So
yeah. It seems like it worked.
It worked.
It actually worked this time.
Character written.
I know.
Even though my character's a loner.
Speaking of writing character for you, the fact that the word dude was thrown in so many times, and that was my fault. I wrote that in. I mean, I love the finale how you just go for it and just say dude like 50 times. I won't, over and over and over.
That was your way of making fun of the same dude a lot of times,
Well, I think it was you guys that mentioned it. It was you and Alan that mentioned it to me, and I had to write it in. Otherwise, it just wouldn't have worked. But wasn't that originally supposed to be like a home phone? Is that what we had, a home phone originally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're supposed to have an answering machine or something. Some archaic device, I don't know.
Yeah, archaic, I don't remember.
No, that would be a rotary phone.
Exactly.
Okay, so Dan, 2 questions for you.
Okay.
1, who's your favorite character? And 2, what would be your favorite episode to write out of all the seasons?
My favorite character?
For whatever reason. Can be any reason at all.
That's a hard one. I think when I wrote it, honestly, it's your character.
Really?
Yeah, because you can be very, very, very...
I'm jealous. It's okay.
I know, and it's true. Everybody loves your character. I think it's because you're so that character's so spot on, and she's just such a rude... it's that part of you that just really wants to tell somebody off consistently and says, this is what I want, I'm going to get it any way I want. And I mean, there's a part of everybody that has that. It's whether or not you actually use it or not. That's part of it. As for my favorite sort of writing, I don't know. The club scenes, I like that. That was a lot of fun. Mostly because I had a location in mind already, so I was able to pull really easily from that. Or the pilot. The pilot was just, I wrote that in 20 minutes, if I remember correctly. I mean, it was just, I was at work one day and just writing it down, scribbling on a piece of paper, and it came out like that. So that was fun. But actually, casting was among my favorite moments for you guys altogether. If there's like a moment, it would be casting because it was only video auditions for you guys. Except for you, because I knew you. I knew you for a long time.
Well, you knew Jocelyn too, right?
Yep, Jocelyn had auditioned for Sex and Drugs, and she turned it down because she didn't like the nudity component, which for that film was really tough. Which we didn't have any. We had 1 shot, didn't we?
Could have been nudity. I'm not
sure. We were supposed to have nudity in it. It never ended up happening.
Yeah, if you count the chick who had the bear on her boobs.
Oh, Britt, yeah.
You call that nudity? Yeah. It was like her nipples were out, so.
That's true.
She had a bear bra.
Jocelyn is Jessica, by the way.
Yeah, in season 2.
The odd couple. Yes.
Which I was sad we couldn't get her for season 3, because that would have been awesome. And I kind of am hoping that we're going to have a season 4. It kind of depends on a wide range of factors.
There's going to be a lot of things that we could do for season 4.
Zombies.
We have a lot of ideas.
Was it zombies and
Bridezilla.
werewolves? Yeah, Bridezilla. Although, are you married at that point though?
I think.
It's never been established whether or not you actually
because I think by the club scene, I'm getting married in a week. Because she says.
That's true.
So I could be potentially married by that point.
That's true, unless your sister decided to ruin your wedding.
Which would be very, very cool. Very interesting.
Very cool.
Well, yeah, because of everything that I've done to her, and we're sort of on this relationship that's not quite yet repaired. There's still a lot of damage to be fixed. So maybe she all of a sudden, flips the script and says, "I'm gonna ruin your wedding since you ruined my relationship."
Was there anything you wish you saw in some of the scripts for your characters?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, that's. I mean, aside from you getting laid once, you know.
Well, I really can't complain about my character because, you know, it was a special character. You know, I was written in, like you said, you know, so what more can I complain about?
But we needed that friend too. I mean, when you start the writing process, it's kind of, you find those base characters, and your character was one of those base characters because you needed that writing, or you need that person rather. And without that, it wasn't going to work at all. And we kind of went back and forth with your character, whether we phase him out or phase him in. It was kind of as needed because you had to deal with all the women problems. Because, you know, Alan has women problems. Too many women.
Jake.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So are you guys in any relationships?
What?
Are you guys in a relationship? Like, if you're in a relationship, how do you know the person you're with feels about, you know, the entire film, knowing that you have to kiss, you have to hug?
Actually, that's a good question. Yeah.
Is that a good question?
Yeah.
Well, I think
I'm engaged to Dan. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm engaged to Dan. Yeah.
Well, no.
And he's fine with it. He
I was
totally
going to
is.
say, have you had that problem when when you talk to significant others in any capacity about the fact that there are going to be kissing scenes? You know, it's acting, and a lot of people don't understand that acting is a very technical art, especially in film. I mean, it's turn your head here. You know, I mean, like I did it with you guys when you guys were having sex, where it was, I need you guys to go up and down more. I need you guys to turn your head here, twist, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's the least sexual thing you're ever going to do.
Right.
But does it ever become a problem?
I haven't had any instances where it's been an issue. I think once I've sort of explained how things go and how there are all these people in the background and there's cords everywhere and there's a camera and there's lights and it's very, and I'm sitting on top of Jake, the character, and it's just kind of like, so, what do you want to have for lunch? You know, it's not really, it's not intimate. It's not like, you know, satin sheets, and candles and music and.
You explained all this, and it's, you know,
we did this
people watching on camera. Now, I'm curious, would it have been different if say, you're engaged and he were on the set that day? I think that would have been a bit more.
I think it depends on the person. I really do. But
because I can't imagine bringing someone in that I'm seeing.
Not on a sex day. Yeah, I was
gonna
gonna
say.
You want to come down to set one day and watch me?
I mean, I can understand it. Yeah, I was gonna say I can understand it on a day almost like today where it wasn't. It was by no means sexual.
Yeah, there was some situations I wouldn't want someone to see, but
I mean, you have a little bit of kissing here and there, but even in this final episode, there wasn't the high end. I mean, there were no clothes taken off this time. You know, this is the first episode in a long time,
they're not.
or rather this season. I mean, there's really no clothes getting taken off.
well, you know, we still have club scene for season 2 that we have to. That could be.
Jake doesn't need much of a reason to strip, really.
I mean, he's like, oh look, a woman. Here we go. You know, he's an exhibitionist. It's okay.
He is.
Which, by the way, I just kind of want to backtrack a little bit. I really wish that after all the craziness that Jake and I had in season 2, I wish Lily or Michelle and I would have had another scene together, just so that she can be talking about Jake and I can just be like, like I already know what he's been doing and who he's been doing.
Yeah.
And then having like ice cream with Michelle in season 2 after that, it would have been a lot of irony, and I think that would be something that I would have wanted written for my character.
Yeah, I can understand that. That would make sense.
And even showing up in the same clothes that I had on when I had just been with Jake, and she'd be like, "Where have you been? You're so busy." And
it's also really ironic that in one of those episodes in season 2, where the door opens and then the next door neighbors come, you go off and she's like right behind you. I mean, it's really quick, and the fact that you guys did not interact in any capacity is kind of like, you know, almost how did that happen, or you know what I mean? It's like seconds of
an apartment hunting.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. I'm a really good liar, apparently, too.
And I thought the same thing, like, maybe after dating all these women and being around women constantly, maybe I need to get some perspective. Maybe another scene with James and I, just a little male bonding, just to be with my friends once.
Yeah, I was going to say, you switched right to Angela's character, I forget her name, Samantha. You switched right back to her at the beginning of season 3, with no real explanation. I mean, there was a little bit. I think it was just that what had happened type of thing. But it really wasn't explained. It was just kind of like everything happened at the club, and a month later you're with her.
Right.
You know, which could have been any number of things.
Again, Jake just going with the flow.
He does have that problem, doesn't he? He tends to go with the flow quite often.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.